Blessings, everybody. This is Dale. Thank you so much for joining with me today on the Word Podcast. We continue through the book of Judges. We're up to the 15th chapter now, and we're in the middle of the account of Samson. Okay, of Samson. And in the end of the 14th chapter, he was mad. His 30 companions that had been assigned to him, comrades that had been assigned to him, had figured out his riddle, and they did so by plowing his heifer. They threatened his wife, Samson's wife. And so she wound up getting information out of Samson, and the rest is history, as they say. And so Samson goes home. He's furious and he's angry. He goes home to his dad's house. He doesn't go home to his wife. Well, his father-in-law thought, well, he's mad at him, thought he didn't want the wife. He winds up giving the girl to one of Samson's companions, one of those 30, apparently, gives her as wife. Well, Samson doesn't know that. So here we go, Judges 15:1. After Sundays, at the time of the wheat harvest. Okay, we're told what time it is. It's the time of the wheat harvest. And we're told it's after some days, which literally means after a while. So after a while, at the time of the wheat harvest, Samson went to visit his wife with a young goat. So he decided, I sort of miss her. She was a cute thing. I really liked the way she looked, and I'm sorry all that stuff happened. So he grabs a goat, which I guess is an offering, peace offering, little dining opportunity, a little supper. And he said, I will go to my wife in the chamber. Ooh. And what that means, I will go to my wife's private room. If you remember, they never consummated the marriage. Okay? And he's decided, hey, what am I doing? I think I'm just going to go down to my wife's private room. Into verse 1, but her father would not allow him to go in. And so she's living there at the father's house. That was nothing unusual, okay? Verse 2, and her father said, he explains why. I really thought that you utterly hated her, so I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister more beautiful than she? Please, take her instead. Got a better heifer over here. It's a pretty heifer. She's younger too, But the father says, hey, I really thought you hated her. You're the one that left. You were mad. You were angry. And so I gave her to this companion. But, she's got a younger sister right here. You can have her. Verse 3. And Samson said to them, this time I shall be innocent in regard to the Philistines when I do them harm. Well, this time? Was he not innocent when he did them harm before? Well, remember he had to pay a debt of 30 changes of clothing. And so he went about 20 miles down the road to another town and killed 30 people and took the spoil, the things that were on them of value, and then took their clothes. Must have killed them in a way that it didn't destroy the clothes and get blood all over the clothes, whatever that may have been. We're not told. And I think he may actually be acknowledging that he did that out of anger. Okay, because he was very furious. And so he likely kept the spoil to himself and paid the debt of the clothing to the 30 compatriots of his, companions of his. So here's what he did, verse 4. Interesting little thing in the scripture here. Verse 4. So Samson went and caught 30 foxes and took torches. And he turned them tail to tail and put a torch between each pair of tails. Now, this isn't a wild account right here. He went and caught 300 foxes. The same word is sometimes translated as jackals. And, if you read the little commentariat, they say, well, foxes just weren't that common around them. Well, how do they know that? We like to superimpose what we experience now upon times then. I think there were probably 300 foxes. The word says 300 foxes. It's 300 foxes. I don't think he did it all at the same time, though he may have caught the foxes and, caged them until he got 300 and then expedited and did what he did over a relatively short period of time. But it would take some time to do all this. He would take the fox, tie them by a piece of rope or string, probably a piece of rope, and put a torch between them. Verse 5, and when he set fire to the torches, he let the foxes go into the standing grain of the Philistines and set fire to the stacked grain and the standing grain, as well as the olive orchards. He was striking them literally at their point of sustenance. He was going after their food supply. Can you imagine how those foxes reacted? They're wild foxes to start with. And here he is, a captain dealing with them. I don't know how logistically he did that, how he kept from getting chewed up and clawed up. He must have tied them up, must have done whatever. But when he tied their tails together and put a torch there and set fire to the torch, don't you know those foxes became spinning dervishes, and they took all through the field, spreading that fire everywhere. I mean, it's quite a scene for the mind to try to comprehend. Verse 6, then the Philistines said, who has done this? And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he has taken his wife and given her to his companion. So they find out exactly why. Samson wasn't trying to hide it. And they said, he's the one that did it. And here's why he did it. Because the guy gave his wife to another companion. Well, how did the Philistines respond to one of their own doing this? Oh, man. Here's the end of verse 6. And the Philistines came up and burned her and her father with fire. They came and burned them, her and her father. Remember what they threatened her with? The 30 comrades, companions. They threatened her, if you don't find out what this riddle means, we're going to burn your house down on top of you. That's literally what that plow and the heifer means, is that they intimidated her. They terrorized her. They threatened her. And here it comes. They actually did it to her. So verse 7, and Samson said to them, if this is what you do, I swear I will be avenged on you. And after that, I will quit. I will cease. He said, if this is what you're going to do, then this is what's going to happen. Verse 8, and he struck them hip and thigh with a great blow. And he went down and stayed in the cleft of the rock of Edom. So he struck them hip and thigh. That's literally a euphemism for giving them a great beating. I mean, ruthlessly with a great slaughter is how the New American Standard translates it. He beat them physically, hip and thigh, struck them hip and thigh. You think, well, isn't that sort of the same thing? Well, it's like this. We have phrases that we use in our language that if you get hit real hard, it knocks something out of you, whatever it may be. It may knock the breath out of you. It may knock all sorts of things out of you. This is what's being talked about. He struck them to where it's literally knocking their hips and thighs out of joint. It is a thorough beating. King James, New American Standard, great slaughter. He killed him. And he stayed in the cleft of the rock of Edom. He left. And you see this quite often with great victory and this kind of stuff, that there's this just a time of just feeling down and out and wondering what's the purpose, et cetera, et cetera. He goes and he hides in the cleft of a rock, the rock of Edom. What does Edom mean? The lair of wild beasts. He probably felt like a wild beast, no? Well, again, I'm Dale. Thank you for your time. We'll continue the story in the next episode. I'll see y'all then. Goodbye.